I want to show you some modifications I made to my cold steel Bushman knives. I have both models. This is the Bushman Bowie, and this is the standard model. So these are really useful knives. They have a hollow handle on them so you can turn them into a spear or a machete, which is very useful. So the first modification that I did was this blade only came back to here, and I like to grip up on the blade and to work really close to the to my hands. So I took a Dremel tool and I ground that down and sharpened it. You have to be a little extra careful because although it is covered with the sheath there, you have to be aware of the fact that that blade is a little bit closer to you. And then what I did is, for both of these, I got some of that camouflage wrap that you can get at any sporting goods store. It's like a cloth, rubberized type wrap, and it works really good. Gives you a really nice grip, and that's really important on these knives. They don't have a hilt, so they're potentially kind of a dangerous knife. I wouldn't give one of these to a child or a young teenager, but as long as you're aware of the limitations, these knives are really awesome. Now, the sheath has a little bit to be desired. I didn't like the clip here for the belt, so I made this nylon strap and I sewed it on. And let me show you how I did that. And so what I did was I just sewed that on, and that way when you sit down, it's not going to stress out the sheath with that plastic, because there's a chance to break. Now on this standard model, I got this one first, and this little piece of plastic right here, this has little indentations in it that locks the blade in place. This popped out, and I think the reason it popped out was because I had this in my belt and it was being stressed, and somehow it was torquing this or something. Anyways, these things popped out. So what I did was, it's like, well, since that sheath is broke, I wanted to try a different modification. So on this one, I carved a piece of walnut because I really like being able to get my thumb on there for carving. And instead of bringing that blade back further, I just grip up a little bit higher here and put my thumb on here. And this particular knife I use indoors actually for my wood stove. I baton kindling to start my fire every morning. So this works just fine for that purpose. So it's a really good knife for batoning. And although I've heard people criticize that this one isn't as good for batoning, I actually haven't noticed a difference. This batons wood just fine. It's got a little bit of an angle, but these knives, because they're so thin and flexible and strong, they work incredibly well for batoning. I've done comparisons with other knives, and these are just about the best knives that you can get for that type of work. They are a little bit on the long side for general purpose woodworking, but you can make them work in a pinch. Now they have these ferro rods that come with them, and although they do work, they're a bit on the small side. In order to get these things to work well, what you want to do is file this flat right here so it's nice and sharp. That way, well, I don't want to burn my nice deer rug here, but you can get that thing going really good. So this is great for like a survival type thing, but don't use it for every day. Otherwise, it's just not going to last very long. I have a 6-inch fire rod that I use that I like a lot better. So anyways, those are the modifications that I made. I'm really happy with it. And the other thing that's really useful is I have a trekking pole that I made out of wood, just a walking staff, and I can stick it right in here and instantly convert this into a machete or a spear. So I use that quite a bit when I go hiking, and then if I come up to some thick brush that I need to pull this out, stick it on top of my walking staff, and just kind of give it a little bit of a twist, and it locks right in there, and then I can hack through brush really well. So these are super versatile knives. They're very affordable. I think Cold Steel really hit a home run with these. They need to modify the sheaths a little bit so that this thing doesn't happen, and maybe do something about this. Replace this with like a nylon belt loop, I think would be an improvement personally. I just don't see how this is going to work long term without breaking. So that's all I got.